Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Izzy and Stacy. Listen, look, vulnerability is a key thing. But with Stacy, she feels that being vulnerable isn't necessary. In fact, she wants to be funny and continue being funny, and that's how she gonna connect. But that ain't gonna be good enough for Izzy. And to be fair, we have to have a real conversation about people that don't want to be vulnerable and what that really means for a relationship and building a relationship. This is one of his strongest connections. In fact, it becomes a strong connection by the end of this episode. Yet she admits to him that in this situation, for him, for her, vulnerability isn't her main issue, or at least it's not our main priority. So let's have a real conversation about Izzy and Stacy's relationship. And on another video, we'll talk about Izzy and Johnny, because that was crazy. Old girl out here, Johnny out here breaking her marriage up for an ex-boyfriend that died. Oh my God, it's Tupac and Will Smith reloaded. But we're going to break it all the way down for you guys, all right? Before we go into this video, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. You guys are doing an amazing job so far. We're trying to get to 100K by the end of the year. It'll be an amazing feat. It's the impossible, but I love it, man. We're going to try it, right? But let's get to 100K before the end of the year. Listen, if you haven't done so already, join our membership. It's £1, a dollar. It's for the support of the channel, but also as well, you get to join our membership only lives as well. I appreciate you guys for doing that. And then if you're also interested in talking about relationships, TV shows, then join our Patreon on Discord. Okay. All right. So listen, we out here trying to provide the best content for you guys and space for you guys to also be able to thrive and enjoy yourself as well. Right. Cool. Let's get into this conversation because it's real. Okay. It's some bull. Okay. Let's get into this.
A lot more deeper. And with you, it's just like, I'm just like kind of just enjoying the ride. Really just kind of gets.
I think that sounds like a much more fun ride, but that's just me. At the end of it, like, you're trying to find the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And part of that for me is
now, you notice how uncomfortable he became the moment she decided to talk about, you know what, part of him for me is just about having fun. He's like, well, I want to get serious. And listen, he's all about fun too, but he wants to get serious. He wants to get deep. He wants to get to the core of the person. And immediately as he said that, Stacy rejected that. And the reason why she rejected it is because she's not comfortable being in a space where she exposes herself. Everything that she does is about being funny. Now, when people are always in a space of trying to be the class clown, the funny person, I want to always live in humor, oftentimes there's often a very dark side to them underneath. There's things that have happened to them, and their way of reasoning and the way of moving through life is by using humor as a way to cover up the genuine feelings that they have underneath the surface. Right? I'm sure if he gets to the bottom of this humor, he's going to find some darker stuff. And when he finds that darker stuff, will he still want Stacy? That's going to be her thought process. That, you know, if she exposes who she really is, then what's going to happen is once she stands out there on the chess piece board and you can see her and now from all angles, will you checkmate her? Because in her mind, she's feeling like that rejection will come. Right. So for her, she's always joking, always laughing, you know. And in fact, what she goes on to say is also quite interesting. If you listen to this breakdown that she gives to him as to why she's not going to be vulnerable, it's interesting.
I can't be with someone forever that I can't have fun with. You give me butterflies. It's not necessarily that I'm bad at being vulnerable. What I can promise you is I'm not going to like half-ass it. I've never failed.
So we're talking about vulnerability, and she says, obviously, you know, I've never failed. I've never failed at anything except such. I'm not going to half-ass it. Beautiful. I love that. You never failed anything. Great, fantastic. But we're talking about vulnerability here, and she tells us quite straight, "Hey, you know, it's not that I don't, you know, I don't like being vulnerable. You know, it's not that I don't want to be vulnerable." And I think it's definitely edited because the conversation doesn't flow. So they definitely cut it off, right? They're probably trying to form a narrative on her, and because the flow of the conversation doesn't make sense. But I think what they're trying to illustrate to us is the reason why she keeps joking around. And so this vulnerability piece for him, he's not getting that from her. He's not getting a deeper sense of thought, a deeper sense of connection. He's not getting or what he got with Lydia. Lydia was very open and very transparent about her and her thoughts and her mind and the emotions, and that's what he wants from Sarah, from Stacy. He wants the emotional and the mental, and what that means is I'm going to share my emotions with you and how I feel, and I'm also going to share my mental, which is my thoughts, my ideas, my plans, my ambitions, my goals. I don't want to just always stay in a place where I'm joking with you. Now, what's key about this is that if you listen to his conversation with Johnny later on, he explains to her, listen, I want to hear you say you want me. And I think that's one of the biggest things for Izzy. He wants to know that you want him. And so this vulnerability of I'm gonna joke with you, laugh with you, that does something, but it doesn't make him feel all the way good. It doesn't make him feel all the way loved. It doesn't make him feel all the way cared for. And when he explains with Johnny later on about his ex-partner, then you can kind of understand why he wants to have that security of somebody just wanting him. You can understand it. You can see where it's coming from, right? You deep it and you're like, okay, I see you. You know, let's play a little bit more.
Failed anything. I just don't want you to ever like compare me to maybe some other girls and how easy it is for them to share, or like be like, oh, I like you and you're the best. Like, I know what I want, and I could give.
Again, you notice again it's slightly cut again, but I guess they're just trying to get to the meat of the conversation really quickly. She says, you know, don't compare me to other girls who are, you know, who are going to be who's easier for them to share. Well, that tells us that it's not easy for you to share. Question is why? I need to pause you there. Hold on, hold your horses. Why is it not easy for you to share? Why is it not easy for you to be able to express sentiments to me? That's what he's looking for. And that's what you should be looking for in a relationship. I'm not saying someone needs to be literally blabbering to you, but what you're looking for is that person to be open enough to be able to, when you get to a place of comfortability and your vulnerability, you're able to actually express your emotions and mental without it feeling like, oh, if I do, they're going to try and take advantage of me. Oh, if they do, they're going to throw something back in my face. Right? And it's very interesting because in reality, that's not what he's saying he wants to do. But her thought process is going to a place of protecting herself without even her really even saying anything. She doesn't realize that she's protecting herself. And so when you get to a place where you're strong and you're confident in your vulnerability, you're able to be flexible, right? When you know your job inside out, you're able to be flexible about certain things because you can do it in your sleep. And when you're comfortable with your vulnerability and your truth, you're able to do this in your sleep. You're able to give out information and be like, well, I own it because it's me. And I don't have to think about, oh, you're going to use it against me, because I'm not thinking about that. If you do, it's up to you, but I'm not thinking about it because I'm comfortable. And so with Stacy, I don't think she's comfortable yet with her vulnerability. I don't think she sits in it very, very well. And that is very hurtful for Izzy because that's how he connects with you.
2 fucks if someone in there wants you the same way I do.
I've never really been torn between 2 people before. Everything with Stacy's just been so easy, but I do care about Johnny. I have feelings for Johnny. Yeah, I'm falling for both of them.
Well, you know, in the end, by the end of this episode, we hear him have a conversation with Johnny, and to be honest, neither of these women are okay, bro. I can't lie to you. That the women this season 2 are just as bad as the men. Like if anything, the women are even crazier than the men this season. You know, he's gonna have a choice to make between Johnny and Stacy. And judging by this episode, neither of them are the best choice right now, because Johnny's craziness of her situation, and then this situation with with Stacy, she's gonna struggle to be vulnerable. So why would you continue chasing her? Well, because part of you also likes the fact that she's evasive, because that speaks to part of you. If you know you live in a space, of vulnerability, you like that aspect, then that is not what you want to be chasing. But the reason why you're partly chasing is because part of you still lives in that space. The mystery of Stacy, and I'm trying to unravel it and uncover it and understand it. Maybe your ego plays a little bit of a role, because you want to be able to be the one that breaks the mold and and makes her see in a different way. Maybe that's what it's kind of playing for Izzy. But for me personally, Izzy, I would like, leave this alone. Leave it alone. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification uploads. Don't forget, subscribe, and you can join our membership as well down below. And don't forget, our Patreon is there too. Much